everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am just finished a series of cards, 3 cards that are sneak peeks, and now I'm going to do a couple of cards. The one at the end could be winter, could be fall, could be, you can kind of make it, but I'm going to do a couple of Thanksgiving cards, and I'm getting them all done ahead of time. So, because we are going to be, my daughter and I have her shower in upstate New York this week, so we're going to be gone for about a week. But today I'm going to use Pick of the Patch. It is a punch bundle. I've used it before, so you can go find this tutorial on my channel already. Today's card doesn't look anything like this. So this also uses the paper that Card Club is using this month. So make sure that if you don't use it for Christmas, that you just flip it to the other side and use it for all other occasions, because this is the joy of Christmas. I think that's what it's called. Paper, but the rest of this is just kind of mishmashed together, and today's card doesn't look anything like that. So I'm going to use the punch bundle, and I would like to point out that it does 2 pumpkins, so it punches out these 2 pumpkins. I'm going to use all the pumpkins, so then you have to fussy cut them. It also has a Happy Halloween. It has the faces to make them into jack-o'-lanterns, but if you don't have the stamp set yet, you're not making jack-o'-lantern cards with it, unless perhaps you live right near Salt Lake and you could get your stuff delivered right away. You could overnight it, I guess, or 2-day it, but we're so close to Halloween now. But it also does great fall, and it will do perfect Thanksgiving. So today is a Thanksgiving card with this. I'm not going to use Cutie Pie, although that would be super cute for Thanksgiving. Have a little pumpkin pie on there. It has the Pick of the Patch. Again, that's just kind of a fall one, but I'm going to use a Harvest of Blessings for our Thanksgiving one. And then I love the crow. The crow's not on it. He's my favorite one after the sentiments. I love the crow, but he's not on today's cards, and I'm not using any of the leaves or the branches or the vines, just the one that goes in the punch. So there are a lot of things that you could do with the set that I frankly just ran out of time for, because after this, like I said, I'm going to move on to some Christmas. So I have copper clay paper. And then I have a piece that will be on the back that is vanilla. So we're going to put that through a folder in a minute. And then I have, this is our online exclusive paper. Now my original card had this and the copper, but it was too hard. So just do one color. Pick one or the other. But if you're going to make several Thanksgiving cards, then you could just mix and match, because the card itself is I'm only using these shades of colors, so you can do whichever ones you want with this piece of paper, but don't mix them, because then it looks all crooked. If it's not run through this folder or the die perfectly straight, it doesn't work very well. So let's do our punch ones first. I am going to do my pumpkins in Lost Lagoon, and then I'm going to highlight them in Misty Moonlight. And I already did my little punch setup. You can go watch. I think I showed you on the original video. I just did have posted, well, it hasn't happened in real life yet, but the bumblebee video, I kind of show you to how to set up a template. So I'm going to stamp this in Lost Lagoon, and then I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight and my blending brush. Every time I put an order in, which is often, I tell myself, get some more of those little blending brushes, and I keep forgetting. I really like the small size, especially for this. So I'm going to dab some shadows on. So I'm just going to kind of pounce up and down on this, and then bring it over here and pounce up and down on this. I don't want to cover up all the Lost Lagoon. I just want to add some highlights. And if you do too much, then it will just be Lost Lagoon, and we don't want that. I mean, Misty Moonlight. I want it to be Lost Lagoon with just a little bit of highlight. And then because it's been a minute since I put that original color on there, just blow some hot air on it. That's always good for a joke when you have guys with you. So here's our first ones, and these will be punched out. Isn't that pretty? But you just want highlights of the second color, which you're going to see me do it again with the other ones. Let's go ahead and pop these out. So because I put the template on there, I can just slide them in here, and they'll all go at one time. So there's those. Now let's do our copper clay and Cajun craze pumpkins. So I took the pumpkins. We did this. We're going to do this at my stamp camp. So here are 2 and 2. And it's just so I can kind of remember which colors I use them on, and also at camp it will help them. And since they're going to be cut out anyways, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to do this first in copper clay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my Cajun Craze and my giant blending brush, because I don't have an orange little one, and just dab this on here and get some Cajun. And then blow some hot air on it. And then we have these lighten up as they dry. Now on this one, I'm going to stamp in my Cajun Craze, so I'm just reversing it. And then I'm going to dab on my copper clay. Blow hot air. And now we have shades of pumpkins that are the same. You could do it with any of the oranges. Be pretty with pumpkin pie, obviously, but that will be on another card at camp. You could use flamingo, any of the colors that you want to be brighter. You could use pecan, so just up to you. Any shades of the orange or brown, so we'll work on this. And then obviously I wanted the Lost Lagoon to match this. I'm going to fussy cut these out. And stamp my sentiment just on a piece of this scrap paper here. And I'm just going to do it in copper clay. It doesn't really matter. Either of the orange shades will work. And then I'm going to cut these out as well. And now we're going to pull our cut and emboss machine over. I'm going to use this die, and it's super fun. It does some really cool things. So for this one, I should have got the other cards that I got the other pumpkin patch card. I didn't get the other card that I have used for this, with this. I'm just going to pop this on here. I'm going to switch this around. I have one plate that is definitely a bottom plate. So you don't want it to go through speed bump. So you're going to put it on here. Just put it on straight. I cut this a fraction bigger than the size of the die. And this is the online exclusive paper. My other one that I've done this particular die with, I used gold foil. And then you just want to go through once, because I would like for it to stay together as much as possible. And once will cut paper easily. And then we are going to use the folder that's part of the All About Autumn suite. So if you are in Card Club, a lot of the stuff that we're using on today's card, you will have from your October Card Club. No, September. This is September Card Club. Oh, can't even open it. So I want to do every other one of these. This is when on the other card I did every other, and I alternated it with the copper of the same paper but different color, and it was too hard to match up. So I'm going to take these two. And then that one will stay. This is why if you can keep them in here, it's a little bit easier to remember which ones you've done, because they all start to kind of look the same. It doesn't matter where in the folder you put them. You could do this with the brick wall. You could do it with the bark, the timber. So we have those in there. And then I'm going to do every other pumpkin. So one blue pumpkin, one orange pumpkin, or I guess Cajun, and then one copper clay pumpkin. And again, it doesn't matter where in there they are. And then I'm just going to send these through. Look how much fun this is. Gives them all kinds of texture. And it makes them look different, so everything doesn't look all the same. I'm going to throw these over here. And then I'm going to take my background. I'm going to put it through the folder. I love this folder. And it's one of the ones that you can use either direction, so it doesn't matter which way is up and which way is down. Now I just have a piece of scrap white here. Well, it's not really scrap, it's a quarter sheet of white. And we are going to rebuild our designer series paper thing over here. Starburst, it's kind of a starburst, huh? So here's a little tip for you. For one, I'm gonna trim this out, so it doesn't really matter exactly how big the scrap is. But I'm going to take a Post-it note and make sure it's on here at least straight enough that you'll have a little bit of room to trim. It's gonna hold that there. If I had the flag ones, that would be better, but I don't have any of those right now. Again, make sure you put it on straight. Now I'm gonna take my adhesive and I'm gonna do the bottom first. So you wanna make sure that every place that you add one is gonna have some adhesive. Now I'm gonna put this here so you can see it, because this is what we want it to look like. It's just like if you have a puzzle and you use the box lid. So we're going to use the box lid. So we need the 2 triangles. So obviously one is going to be not embossed and one will be embossed. I'm just going to lay them here first till I have the things that I need for the first section. Now see these here? This goes here, and then we need this one over here. So I'm going to put these back into the frame. This is why you don't want to put adhesive on the whole thing, because your hand sticks to it. And don't press hard, which I tell you that all the time anyways. Oops, and I just pressed hard on that one. But they're easier to lift up if you're not in the right spot. But if you use this little frame, and if it wasn't pretty paper, if you're just doing regular kind of paper, just cut your frame bigger so you have more of this to kind of stick down, and then you could just lift it up. But we're just going to puzzle piece that right there. And again, I'm not going to press down until I'm sure it's where I want it to be. There we go. Now that that has a little bit to help it stay, it won't lift up as easy. Put some adhesive to this next layer. Now we need our little triangles. So embossed and not embossed. And one of them is going to end up with the circle. But I knew that to get all of them together here, they're not going to be perfect, so we're going to cover that with ribbon, so don't worry if they don't look perfect. Now we need a not embossed and an embossed. Now you're pretty much to the point now you can get rid of your frame, because the rest of them are just going to fill right in there. But just to make it easy for you to see, I'll leave it here if I can. Sometimes when you move the little Post-it notes, they move. We need more adhesive to get up here in the tops and the corners. Those of you that get my VIP projects will have one of these cut, and you'll just have to piece it back together as one of our VIP projects for, what month is this? October. So anytime you purchase from me, you get supplies to make my VIP projects. So you can go to my website to see what the levels are this month. There's bonus levels this month. Now I just need to trim around this. So I just have my little guillotine cutter. I'm just going to put this right on the edge. Once you have one edge pretty straight, then you can kind of put it back up at the top. That first one, because my paper isn't on here exactly straight. And you can see it's taking off little fractions, but that's fine. Nobody's going to notice it. And it makes your box be nice and straight. Also, why you want to make sure that I didn't press them down when I was finished, because that moved a little bit. Now I'm just going to take my scissors here, my snips. This is the first one I did, which was harder because the paper wasn't straight. This was really just on here to give it something to stick to. So now that it's stuck all in the middle, you can get rid of anything that might be showing. There's a little bit down here, but I could put my pumpkins on top of it and nobody would know, but we'll just go ahead and get rid of it. And then you have the fun background. So I have my Lost Lagoon ribbon. Again, if you were in Card Club, this was a Card Club ribbon, May-ish? May or June, I think it was May. I went with the inked and tiled bundle. And I'm just gonna tie a knot, so if you don't do bows, this is the card for you. You don't need a bow in the middle of your pumpkin patch. I need to get to the apple orchard at least one more time because one of my demonstrator teammates lives by our favorite orchard. So starting in the summer when they start having all of their vegetables, then I go all the time and get corn on the cob, and we grow a lot of them ourselves, but we don't grow corn. Cantaloupe. But then in the fall, I get apples all the time, and I normally make at least a few apple desserts, but this time it's been a busy fall. We've had so many weddings and all of the things that go with weddings, the showers and the bachelorette parties and all of the fun things, but we've been so busy that I haven't made a pie. I haven't made any bread. I haven't made any muffins, but I've eaten a lot of apples because orchard apples are just better. So I'm just fraying this again to give it kind of that little farmhouse look, a little rustic. And you can do it so they're all individual strings, but it takes a second longer. And this video is taking long enough. So we have that, and we're almost done. Let's pop this up here. Always, if you have an option between flat paper and paper that's been through an embossing folder, go with the flat paper because it can rip this up. Put it a little bit towards the top because we're going to put our pumpkins at the bottom. And we have our copper clay. But I need to go get apples so I can make an apple pie because it wouldn't fall. Like if fall comes and goes, I feel like that happened with our summer. It came and it went. And I was like, we didn't do all of the summer things. We did a lot of the summer things. I spent a lot of time poolside, which is the most summer of the things, right? Especially once you can't do it. You're like, glad you did that. I'm gonna grab these and then we're gonna do every other. So you wanna match, I can't look at my other card because I don't wanna match my other card. I wanna go every other. So this is an orange that is embossed. So now we need the blue that's not embossed. So see if you have a bad edge, this is the edge to put it on. Now let's do the tallest of the oranges over here. And then we will do this one here. And then I'm gonna grab some dimensionals. Little baby one for the tiny pumpkin. A bigger one for this one. I don't want this one here. See, don't press hard and then you can swap them. Well, that stayed. I was looking at size and not embossed, not embossed. There we go. And we have have a leaf. Now, if you're doing this and you want to do more of the leaves and hand cut some out, or even if you want to do more of these and punch them out, feel free. I did not want to spend any more time on them, and because it was it's going to be a camp card. We do so many projects, I don't want them to be here forever. This is what I just cut apart. Since it's a fun Thanksgiving card, a little non-traditional. So we have a harvest of blessings. And then for our embellishments, we are going to use the adhesive back solid gems. If you were in Card Club, this was the month we did the daisies. So you have these. I'm just going to use this copper clay color. I'm going to use 7 because I believe embellishments belong on cards and not in drawers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go back with the big ones and go 5, 6, and 7. So I know some of you, if you don't follow me, you're probably going, she uses a lot of embellishments. So here's the deal. This one has 180. So if you do 7, you could do 10 cards and you would do 70. If you do 20 cards, you're at 140. You could do 20 cards and put 7 on them and you'd still have some left. So there are so many embellishments. That's why they end up in our drawers, because there's so many and we're afraid to use them that we don't use them. And 3 on here would be good, right? We would have that, but look how much more that is. It's just a happy card. Here's the other one. All going to end up looking about the same. I hope you can see. Go to my website. I'll have an up-close picture of the way that this texture does on here. It's so pretty. And do it this way instead of trying to change the colors of paper. Because if they're a little bit crooked, you can see this one right here. Tiny bit crooked. You don't notice it when it's the blue touching blue. But you notice it more when it was the blue and then the Cajun paper. It was obvious. So there you go. Come back and watch my other fall videos. I'll be posting soon. Bye.